Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. Today we'll be talking about the least common multiple. Now, in one of my previous videos, we have talked about what is a multiple, but let's just get a refresher. Let's say 1 times 2 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4. And so in this case, 2 and 4 are our multiples. Now, let's take an example of the LCM. Let's take two random numbers. What is the least common multiple between 2 and 5? Now, what are the multiples of 2? Let's break this into two sides, 2 and 5. Well, 2 times 1 is equal to 2. 2 times 2, 4. 2 times 3, 6. 2 times 4, 8. Let's keep on going till 6. 2 times 5, 10. And 2 times 6 is 12. Now, let's check it out for 5. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 5 is 25. And 5 times 6 is 30. Now, to find the least common multiple, we didn't even have to go that far. If you see, we can't see any 2's in this side right here. But what's the least common multiple? And in this case, we have 2 times 5, 10, and 5 times 2, 10. And so the least common multiple between 2 and 5 is 10. So basically what I did was listed multiples for each number and then found the least common one. Let's try another example. Let's take 6 and 9. Let's make two sides over here, 6 and 9. 6 times 1 is 6, 6 times 2 is 12, 6 times 3 is 18, 6 times 4 is 24, and 6 times 5 is 30. Let's do it on this side. 9 times 1 is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 3 is 27. 9 times 4 is 36. 9 times 5 is 45. Now, let's see what is common in between these two. Immediately, I can see that we have 18 as the least common multiple. Now, this is one way that we could find the least common multiple. We list out all the multiples and find the least common. But for bigger numbers, this is going to be extremely hard. It's going to take a lot of time. So let me show you guys a shortcut. So let's use the same example, 6 and 9. So what I like to do is I do 6, 9, and I kind of make this table right here. Now, the next step is to think of a prime number in which both of these divide and give us a remainder of 0. Now, generally, when we do a question with the least common multiple, we tend to stay beneath the prime numbers that are beneath 10. So the prime numbers that are between 1 to 10 are 2, 3, 5, and 7. So if I take these two numbers, 6 is divisible by 2 and 3, and 9 in these set of numbers is only divisible by 3. So we're going to use 3. So right 3 in this corner and divide. So our quotient 6 divided by 3 gives us 2, and 9 divided by 3 gives us 3. Now, simply, we can go further, because if we go further, it basically just becomes 2, then that becomes 1, and we can divide 3 by 2 because it gives us a remainder, so we just bring that down, and then we do 3 to get rid of that 3, which gives us 1 and 1. So the goal is in the end to reach this 1 and 1. And now to find the least common multiple, what we do is we multiply these numbers on the side. So we would do 3 times 2 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9, times 2 is 18. And 18 was the least common multiple. Let's do another quick example. Let's take this first example that we had, 2 and 5. So if I do 2 and 5 in the similar box, we do that, and then now in this case, 2 and 5 are both prime numbers. So let's start with 2. That gives us 1. Because this gives us a remainder, we just bring it down. Now I do 5. This is already 1, so we don't touch that. And this becomes 1 again. So we have to multiply. So that becomes 2 times 5. And so 10 is our least common multiple between 2 and 5. And for my next video, we'll be seeing word problems using least common multiple. Now we'll be doing 2 examples that involve 3 numbers. Let's start with these 3 numbers. Actually, I changed my mind. 10, 15, and 20. Using the quick shortcut I showed you guys, let us find the least common multiple. So the prime number that divides these 3 would be 5, leaving 2, 3, and 4. Now I see I can use 2 because I have 2 and 4 here. So 2, that leaves us with 1. Because 3 divided by 2 gives us a remainder, we're just going to leave 3 as it is, and that becomes 2. Now let's do 2 again. That 1 remains 1, that 3 remains 3, but this 2 turns into a 1. Then lastly, we get a 3, which ends up with 1, 1, and 1. And to find the least common multiple, we have to multiply all of these numbers on the side, which would be 5 times 2 times 2 times 3. Let's simplify that. That's 10 times 6, which is 60. So between these 3 numbers, 60 is our least common multiple. Now let's try another one. Let's take the numbers 6, 7, and 8. And in this example, I'll be starting with 2 just because 6 divided by 2 gives us 3 and 8 divided by 2 gives us 4. So 2, 3, because 7 divided by 2 gives us a remainder, we're just going to leave that alone, and that gives us 4. 3 and 7 are prime numbers, so let's leave that for later and go with 2 again to get rid of that 4, which would give us 3, 7, and 2. Now let's just get this all equal to 1. Let's start with 3, so 1, 7, and 2. 7, 1, 1, and 2, and lastly 2, which becomes 1, 1, and 1. And as mentioned before, we need to multiply all of these together. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 7. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, and that is 21. And 8 times 21 is 168. So the least common multiple between 6, 7, and 8 is 168. Thanks for watching this lesson. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel Algebra Star or visit algebrastar.com. Once again, thanks and stay safe.